Welcome to another episode of Aliyah at Large, Aliyah Stories. All right, we are back with a new episode of Aliyah at Large, Aliyah Stories, and I'm very excited to have a special guest today, Rina Deutsch. Rina Deutsch is a Aliyah, and she also has started her own coaching business, so she's also an entrepreneur, and would love to hear about her Aliyah story. So Rina, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, David. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So let's start off with a little bit of background on you and your decision to make Aliyah. When did you make Aliyah?
I made Aliyah August 27th of this year. So just like 2.5 months ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, you are fresh off the boat. And where did you come here from?
I came from Toronto, Canada.
Amazing. So you came with your family. So you made the decision. Is it something that you were thinking about for a long time? Is it something that relatively recent? How did the decision finally come about?
I have been dreaming about making Aliyah for a very long time, since I was 18. I was born and raised in Toronto. I went to a Bnei Akiva high school, and I did a gap year in a place called Midreshet Harova, which is also very Bnei Akiva. That was actually the first time that I was ever in Israel, and I decided then and there that I wanted to make Aliyah. I felt it deep in my bones that this was exactly the place that I was supposed to be. Over the years, there were a couple of times that I really wanted to or tried, but life really just sort of never lined up. But then after October 7th, really something sort of shifted in me. Like I really felt more than ever that I needed to be here, both, spiritually, historically, religiously, it's my home. And I've known that since I was 18. And I wanted to be able to be here with my people, for better or for worse. If I'm also being honest, I feel like I kind of know how the diaspora story for the Jews ends. You can call me an alarmist if you want, that's fine. But I didn't really want to sit around and wait for it.
So now you have moved here with your family, right? What's your family background?
My family background, I am divorced. I'm a mother of 5. I came here with 2.5 of my kids, meaning my 20-year-old daughter made Aliyah with me and my 14-year-old daughter made Aliyah with me. I have an 18-year-old son who's here on a gap year, and we'll see what he's going to decide to do at the end of that. And then my 2 oldest kids, my 24-year-old and my 22-year-old, decided to stay in Toronto.
Wow. So when you told your kids you were moving to Israel with 5 different kids at different age ranges, you must have gotten, I'm guessing you got different reactions across the board. Is that right? Or I guess some of them were just thinking, well, we're going to stay put. And some thought, well, let's go, Mom.
So the funny part is that it was actually really my kids who pushed me to do it. They've known that it's something that I always wanted to do. Like I said, when they were growing up, there were certain times that, we kind of tried and it didn't work. And I was the person who used to sit and watch all the Nefesh B'Nefesh videos on YouTube and cry. And one Friday night we were sitting at the table, and my oldest asked me, why aren't you making Aliyah? And I said, because Eliana, who's my youngest, said she doesn't want to. And he looked at me from across the table and it was like, she's 13 years old. Since when does she get to make the adult decisions? And I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting concept. And basically, my older kids were like, you've wanted this your whole life. This is your moment. She's starting high school. If you don't go now, you're stuck for another 4 years. And, the ones who wanted to stay said, we'll figure it out. And of course, I'm figuring it out with them. I didn't just, abandon them, throw them a pizza and say, here, figure it out. Aliyah, my 14-year-old, she wasn't necessarily thrilled, which is understandable. I get where she's coming from, but she got on board. She's been a really good sport. I'm so grateful to her. She's an amazing kid and she's adapting. Thank God.
So people often talk about the financial or the emotional cost of Aliyah, but what was the biggest emotional reward you saw in the first few months for yourself or one of your kids?
I'm going to speak more about myself, but for me, the realization of a dream that I've had since I was 18, it's amazing. And every morning I wake up with so much gratitude that I get to live here. I live in a neighborhood called Armona Natziv, which is a neighborhood in Jerusalem. And across the street from my house, there's this little hill called Givat Tormesim. And I have a dog and I walk him up there. And if I turn to the left, I can see the Temple Mount. And if I turn to the right, I literally can see the Dead Sea on a clear day. and it takes my breath away every single time. And I just know that 18-year-old me would be so proud that I finally made this dream come true.
And as a Canadian, do you guys use Nefesh B'Nefesh also? Because obviously the Americans do, but Canadians do also, or you have your own thing?
Absolutely. I use Nefesh B'Nefesh. They were very helpful.
Amazing. Yep, they certainly are. And how long did your process take from beginning to end?
To be perfectly honest, I sort of did it at a breakneck speed. I made the final decision, I want to say February 15th of this past year, and I was here on August 27th. Like, I really plowed through.
Oh, that's 7 months. That's not like super fast.
Well, from what I've seen on Facebook, there are like all sorts of people that it's been 2 years, it's been 4 years, like.
Yeah, it all depends on how organized you are, I think, frankly.
Probably.
I feel like you're an organized person. If you're a mother of 5 children and they're all still standing, you're obviously very organized.
I think they disagree with you, but thank you.
As an assumption. Okay, so you got here August 27th, so before the Chagim and before the school year started. So was that intentional, and was it super intense, like that first month trying to settle in, trying to do everything at once, or how did it go?
Actually, I had wanted to come a little bit earlier, but I got delayed by certain pieces of paperwork. You know, I for sure wanted to be here before the school year started for my daughter to be able to start high school, but I had wanted to be here a few weeks earlier, but it didn't work out. It wasn't in the cards. That was fine. It was completely insane. Like, it was very intense. But I think, like, with the right mindset, I was just sort of like, okay, kacha, this is the way it is. I tried to stay positive about everything without, ignoring the fact that there were definitely some challenges. Tried to take things in stride. And I think that if you have the right attitude, you can really get through pretty much anything.
I think you're right. Let me ask you, so your daughter and yourself, what are your Hebrew skills like, and how are you each acclimating you to working? And you're going to tell us more about what you're doing with yourself, but also your daughter in terms of school.
So my conversational Hebrew is actually pretty good. I definitely still have more to learn, but I came in with a fairly decent working Hebrew. My daughter, not so much, but we found a school for her in Beit Shemesh called YTA, and they do all the instruction there in English while they give the girls Ulpan and Hebrew lessons so that they learn Hebrew, but they're not drowning in school where they don't understand what's happening in math or science class because the teacher is speaking in Hebrew. It's actually brilliant. It's working out so well for her. And like, lad, she's going to learn.
That's the phrase. That's the mantra. La'at, la'at. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
I'm here. It'll be a year and a half or so, and everything's still la'at, la'at. Okay, so let's talk about your career and what you're doing. So you've got a bunch of different things that you've done in your career: teaching, life coaching, marketing. Give me the rundown as to what you were doing before you made Aliyah in Toronto and what you're going to be doing now and what you think you might want to do.
Okay, in Toronto for the last 7 years, I was actually a Judaic studies teacher in my high school alma mater. Shout out to B'nai Akiva schools in Toronto. So that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years. And here, thank God, I was able to secure myself a position at Aish Aspire and at another seminary. So I'm still teaching. I was doing life coaching on Zoom before. I'm still doing that. And I'm also now looking to do a bit of a pivot because necessity is the mother of reinvention. So I've worn a lot of hats over the years. Thank God I've developed lots of skills. And so especially as a single mom supporting a family, I need to use them as strategically as possible. So I'm still teaching, I'm still coaching, and now I'm pivoting into marketing also. So, I feel like this very classic Aliyah. You come here and you gotta reinvent yourself. You gotta be open to exploring new avenues and seeing what it is that you can do.
I love that phrase. Necessity is the mother of reinvention. And you're absolutely right. I've experienced it, and other people I've spoken to and have had guests on the podcast have also had to reinvent themselves and pivot once they've made Aliyah. In a good way, like not in a negative way, but more just this has been a place where they can realize dreams that they've had or just try something different and more rewarding, actually. So tell me about your life coaching business. And are your clients still international? Are they here? And how long have you been doing the life coaching?
I've been doing the life coaching for a few years now. I want to say about 3. There was also a while. So I said that I'm divorced, that I have a specialty of focusing on helping women through the divorce process, but it's not exclusive to that. Been working with them on Zoom internationally, and you know how things work here. I have not yet gone to open like what I need to do it properly. So I'm not like right now, I'm actually sort of put that on hold because I want to do everything the right way. And I haven't had the opportunity to go and like open a business and set things up with the tax authority and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just working the real day jobs.
Right.
And I'll see if I'll put that back up.
And how are you executing your pivot to marketing? What kind of marketing? Are you looking for jobs here in Israel? Are you looking for international remote jobs? How are you doing your pivot?
So I'm looking for jobs here as of right now. I actually, a little bit later today, have an interview with a company. I spoke to people on Thursday. Shout out to Hillel Fold, who really holds true to his Facebook promise that if you make Aliyah, he'll get you a shawarma and help you find a job. And really, like, I have a lot of communication and interpersonal skills that I have developed over the years. Marketing, to a great extent, is really just about educating people on what it is that a company provides or can do, and doing it well, doing it passionately. So I feel very confident to be able to step into that. And I'm looking for jobs here. I'm pretty open.
And are you looking for jobs where English is the main language, or do you feel confident enough to take a job where Hebrew will be the main language you'd be communicating in or executing your marketing campaigns in?
At this point in time, I'm looking for English-speaking jobs. Before, I would do something where I would be communicating at that level exclusively in Hebrew. I want to, take a proper Ulpan, which, thank God, currently working like 3 jobs hasn't allowed me to do, but I'm going to get there. So until my Hebrew is at a level where I feel I could communicate as effectively as I can in English, or, at least like 80% as effectively, I'm not sure that I would be looking for something where it would be Hebrew speaking. But the truth is that as of now, I've found that there is a market for English speaking. And I feel like it's something that you can't necessarily count on, but is out there. And it's a possibility that people should look into. If your Hebrew is not quite up to scratch, first off, you got to work on it. I think it's very important. But there are English speaking opportunities. So, for now, that's what I'm going after.
So how did you find your first job? That's great that you have a job so quickly upon moving here. That's not always the case.
Thank God, I'm so blessed. Networking. You have to network. Every single person that I knew in Israel, pretty much, I reached out to and I was like, hey, I'm making Aliyah. Do you know anybody who's looking? All these sorts of things. And it happens to be that the woman who is the director of the Aish Aspire program here is originally from Toronto. I've known her for a very long time. And I sent my resume in to Aish and it crossed her desk. And she was like, oh my God, Rina, you're making Aliyah. Come here. And it was amazing. Thank God.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's terrific that you found something so quickly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So as you made Aliyah, did you know where you wanted to live, or was it a process to find your location?
It was a combination of both, to be perfectly honest. Jerusalem really just has a very, very, very special place in my heart. And I always knew that I wanted to either live in Jerusalem or very close to it. And I was open to exploring some communities just outside. And then on Facebook, I actually saw something called Aliyah Yerushalayim. So they're an organization that specifically helps people who are looking to make Aliyah to Yerushalayim. And I actually had like a 3-hour Zoom call with a woman named Emily Lightstone there, who is so fantastic. And we really sat down and we talked about, who I am, who my kids are, what our family's like, what we're looking for religiously, socially, all these sorts of things. And she's like, you could try this neighborhood, but I really, really, really think that you'd be happy in this place called Armona Netziv, which I had heard of before. It's funny, I know some people who live here, and that's where we decided to go. And thank God, so far, it's really good. We're happy.
Is there a mix of Anglos there, or is it mostly Israeli, or what's it like?
It has a really nice mix, to be honest. You can hear English when you're walking down the street, but you also hear Hebrew. There's Russian, there's French. It's quite a mix. And the people there are really pretty warm and it's really nice. And there's a mix of religious and not religious. So that was something that was important to me, that it wouldn't all just be one way, wouldn't be a monolith.
Right.
So that's what we got.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Give me some local spots or a hidden gem in your neighborhood that makes it feel like home. You told me about your little vantage point where you can see the Temple Mount. So give me some other local spots that someone might want to go visit.
So that is absolutely my favorite. I think that everybody should have the opportunity to go there. And then also, I haven't experienced this yet, but apparently like right before Pesach, like March, April time, that entire hill is covered with purple flowers and it's supposed to be incredibly gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can actually see it from the window of my bedroom. So I'm looking forward to that experience also. To be perfectly honest, really, since I got here, I've been working and I haven't had as much time to explore as I'd really like. But Israel has really always felt like home to me. So, just get here, just walk around, just explore if you have the opportunity, and just know that everywhere you go in Israel, you're at home.
So as a single woman and mother in Yerushalayim, what's one thing about the community or support system that has genuinely surprised you, for better or for worse?
So one thing that surprised me in a good way is really how little people care that I'm divorced. In Toronto, there was definitely, at least my perception of it, was like a little bit more of a stigma, like nothing but love to you, Toronto, moi. But here, it's really just life. Nobody judges, nobody makes it weird. And that's been really refreshing for me.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel that as well. I feel like that's not what people size you up on, at least.
Yeah, people don't get hung up on this kind of stuff.
Nah, they don't. And if anything, they start asking you like, if you want to get set up, and then they try to set you up.
Yes. That's so true.
And they have no qualms about asking you either.
Right.
Like it's no qualm about that, no qualms about, do you want to have kids? If you don't have kids, it's like, there's no filter. There's no filter. So yeah. Get used to it.
Everybody's all up in your business.
Get used to it, but with good intent.
With love.
Yeah.
With lots of love. Yeah.
So it really is, it's mishpucha. All right, so let's play Israeli Mom Rapid Fire, and I'm going to ask you some questions and give me the first answer that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Best Israeli junk food.
Okay, it's not really junk food, but it's my favorite, rebar. I got to go with rebar forever.
Rebar. The one thing you'll never stop ordering in English.
Honestly, I don't order so much. I try really hard speaking in Hebrew, so there isn't one thing that I always order in English, to be honest.
What's your favorite Hebrew word that you've learned?
It's a phrase, yalla balagan. I feel like it sums up Aliyah, parenting, being a single mom. Like everyday life in Israel is just like, yalla, let's just jump into the chaos.
Shawarma or falafel?
At night, shawarma. During the day, falafel, because like I have serious flashophobia. Like I can't commit for 6 hours to not have anything dairy in the middle of the day.
Oh, you're at 6 hours.
Yeah.
We grew up 3 hours. Okay, hummus or tahina?
Hummus. Both, actually. I like them together.
Good answer. Okay. So you've been to Israel before, and now you've come back, and now you're a citizen, and you have the whole country to explore. What's the one place that you're just looking forward to going back to see or seeing for the first time?
So the truth is, I've never been to Rosh Hanikra, and I've seen pictures, and it's supposed to be so gorgeous. I don't know how I've missed it until now. That is absolutely on my bucket list.
Nice. Excellent. That's a good one. I haven't been there either in I think since I was a bar mitzvah kid, which was a long time ago. Excellent. All right. So one of the other things we like to do in the podcast is to have a word of the podcast. I know you're relatively new. Are there any slang words that you've picked up that you like to use? I know you gave us yalla balagan before, but are there any other slang words that you like to use or that you've picked up that you would want to share?
Sure. I like the word Gahg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right?
What does Gahg mean?
Gahg, like when, somebody says like, when are you going to be here or what time do you, whatever, Gahg time, like at max, I'll be there by 2, right? How much can you spend on a dryer? Gahg, 1,000 shekel. I love that. It's so funny.
I love that. I've never heard that before. Gahg. Okay. Good one. Well done.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And I wish you a lot of luck. I think you're amazing and what a brave journey. And you've had great success so far. Bezrat Hashem, you'll just continue to have more.
Amen. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. This was so much fun.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. That's it for this episode of Ola at Large, Aliyah Stories. I want to thank my guests and I want to thank you. Thanks for listening. Please give a like, give a follow, and catch you next time.